Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, of course, as usual, let's go over what happened with Tesla. Excuse me. It's on my throat. What happened with Tesla and, just what's happening in the stock market overall. And yeah, today was a spicy day. It is Friday. Kind of losing track of my days here. But I mean, apparently, according to this, Tesla ending literally on the dot at 860 on the dot 00, down pretty much 5% for the day. A pretty aggressive sell-off. Now, the main reason Tesla's down 5%, and I mean the market in general, like QQ's down 3.17%, 2% on the SPY, is because there was a lot of fear around the Russia-Ukraine issue, I guess, if you want to call it that. Regarding that, there was a lot of news, essentially, that they might be invading Ukraine and the tensions might heat up in next week, essentially, is what happened. Again, whether that's true, whether it's not, like, obviously no one really knows for sure. I mean, other than, I guess, Putin and whatnot. But essentially, there was a lot of fear around that, and that caused a lot of panic selling in this market. And essentially, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious when it started. Right around here is when it started. And we just essentially, throughout the rest of that day, or rest of the day from that point, rather, pretty much just started selling off. Now, the one thing that's interesting is the fact that this pretty much... I mean, okay, so essentially exactly what I said yesterday was going to happen. I just didn't think it would happen this fast. I did think this would happen, which I mentioned yesterday. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a push up to this level. I said like 910 to 915 and get rejected and then sell off from that. I don't think it would sell off all in one day. I thought this would take maybe a couple of days into next week to reach the target that we reached today, but it all just happened today. So essentially, right, we pushed up in the morning, got rejected, and then just sold off, and then we kind of bounced around this level right here, which is what I thought would happen. And I thought we would pretty much be flat around here, maybe get a quick little bounce up to like 900 again and get rejected again, something like that. But instead, what we got was not only did this play out exactly as I predicted for today, but then the fears regarding the whole like invasion, war, whatever started, and that's where we essentially got what I thought would happen over the next couple of days happen today instead, which is essentially a sell-off all the way down to more or less the gap fill. Now, the issue is the fact that we didn't fully gap fill. You can see here, the gap was at 846.35. We sold off to around 850.71. So not necessarily to the actual perfect fill. I mean, to me, a true gap fill is essentially entering the 846 level. That to me is like a true gap fill. Now, some people argue that the fact that we traded within this range of this gap and pretty close to where this closed, that's good enough. And there's a lot of arguments that you can make for that. Personally, I would have loved to see it actually touch like 846 roughly. That would have made me a lot more comfortable and happy. We didn't. So it's like, I don't know, maybe there's still a little more downside ahead, maybe not, I don't know, but essentially, this is pretty close to what I personally perceive to be the short-term bottom. Ideally, what I would want to see from here is, so you can, by the way, you guys see what happens, right? When you break these kind of trend lines. Break, reject, and then plummet. Again, this should have happened over a couple of days, in my opinion, but the point is that this was just a very fast version of it. The Band-Aid got ripped off, essentially, which I think is better, but kind of get it out of the way faster. But yeah, this is what happens when trend lines break, guys. I mean, it's pretty. It can get pretty aggressive, pretty bloody, especially in this market right now. So essentially, what I want to see from here is I don't want to. I don't want to see it drop too far below this 846 level. I still think there's a chance we hit 846 or like somewhere around that level. It's very possible, but around this general level that we've hit for the lows of the day, around that 850-ish level, give or take 5 to 10 points. I want that to hold. Like, I don't want to see it go much lower than that, ideally, because it wouldn't be it just wouldn't be ideal. Essentially, is plain and simple. So taking a look at the weekly, so we just ended up obviously finishing off the week. So taking a look at this weekly, let's get rid of these purple lines. These purple lines are essentially pointless now. We're done with these, so we don't care about them too much, and it's a little too cluttered. We're done with this. That played out. So essentially what you can see here is, I need to move this up a little bit. Hold on a second, let me fix this line. I misdrew it, I guess. The thing with these viewers sometimes is like, as you switch between the daily and the weeklies, it kind of like messes up the lines. It's kind of annoying. So you cannot, something like this, give or take, right? Something like that, give or take. Not absolutely perfect, but this is the rough idea as to what it should look like. I mean, you can make it a tiny bit lower. I think I went a little too high. But essentially something like this is roughly what we're looking at on the daily. Oh, it's supposed to be on the weekly. Oops. There we go. It looks a lot better on the weekly. Here we go. Perfect. This is actually a lot better. There we go. So yeah, so you can see like on the weekly, we are essentially touching this teal line, which you can see Tesla has respected for a very long time. Respect, respect, respect. Skyrocketed, fell down, similar to the way it's happening here. Skyrocket, fall down, skyrocket, fall down. Respect, 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 respect. And then it's skyrocketed again, right? So essentially, ideally, you don't want to see a weekly close under this line, give or take. Obviously, my line isn't drawn to the absolute perfect price exactly on the to the decimal, but it gives you a general idea, right? Roughly. So essentially, for this week, we held above this line, which was around that 850 level, which is good. Next week, we want to make sure that we end the week above about 860, which is where we currently closed. So that's essentially the way I'm looking at it right now. Again, in theory, this should be the low. Now, keep in mind, if we do end up closing a weekly below this line, like, like well below it, that could be bad. So I don't want to see that happen, essentially. That's like pretty bad, in my opinion. So we're essentially just hoping that that does not happen. I personally have bought on my other accounts. This is pretty much what I was waiting for. I've been calling this out for a while. This is exactly what I was waiting for, this level right here. And I bought. I personally think this, in theory, should be the bottom. If I'm wrong, well, then I'm wrong. Then I guess I'm holding it from here. But I personally, not financial advice, don't think this is a bad entry, personally. I think that risk versus reward around this 850 level is pretty good, in my opinion. Whether it's an entry just for the long term or whether it's just a swing trade, I think it's a good entry. So I went pretty aggressively here on the second account. This also kind of makes the inverted head and shoulders play out the way I was saying before that I want to see it play out. It's a little sketchy in the sense that like this shoulder is like way over here, but you can see this shoulder here, the head here, and now this shoulder right here. I personally like this more. I just wish this whole thing wasn't this long. It makes it a little bit kind of weird, but the point is that this shoulder now lines up with this shoulder, which I was saying, if you guys, watch my videos regularly, it's something that I think just is a better formation, which just makes more sense to me. And that's exactly what we got right here. So I want to hold around this level. I don't want to drop below like around 850-ish, right? Give or take. So that's essentially what I'm projecting, guys. I personally think we should bounce. Again, so the issue that might hold us back is on Monday. There's, I think a Fed meeting is happening. I believe it's an FOMC meeting. It kind of like got scheduled almost abruptly, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Based on what they say there can have a big implication as to what happens if there's more pain or not. So I'm hoping for some good news there. I really am. And I think that'll be really, really positive for the market. I mean, the market at this point is just freaking out. It's like a baby screaming in the middle of the night, nonstop. We need the Fed. We need Jerome to give us the candy. The market needs candy to be happy right now, to kind of shut it up a little bit right now, because the market is just crying like a baby nonstop. It needs to get something that it wants, because it's not getting anything it wants right now. And this war issue is not helping. So hopefully that's good news. But otherwise, that's it for this video, guys. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Let me know what you think about it down below, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Peace.